Hey everybody, Dusty White here. Thank you for tuning in to Easy Tarot Lessons. I've got Sharon and Mandy here. Today, I want to cover what can you do with the tarot. It's kind of like astrology. A lot of people think that with astrology, you're really limited to people's personality or what's going to happen or what kind of day, and that's just banging rocks together. There is infinitely more, but that's a topic for another day. But in that same line, we don't just go to tarot readers and go, tell me what's going to happen. Or, is so and so doing this? I want to talk today about what you can do to open your mind so you can see the various ways you can enhance the quality of your life with the extra information that you're getting from God. Which is monotheistic terms. Don't want to scare off any polytheists and go, oh my God, he's going on Jesus and everything. But think about this. We're all intelligent humans. Most of us are adults, or at least of the age where we should be. That's what I've been accused of. But we have the ability to think, to interact with the world. We know basic language skills, maybe several languages. We know math. So in other words, we know how to solve problems. So the tarot doesn't replace all of that. We don't just go, oh my God, I'm going to do whatever the tarot cards say. And there's a lot of mystery and superstition that's baked in to tarot circles. And then on the other side of the spectrum, there's a whole bunch of wee white light angels and dolphins and shamanism and whatnot in the Sedona crowd. And it's fine. Each and everybody should have their thing. But what we try to do here is show you how it's done without the superstition, without the dogma. You want to add your own religion, superstition, dogma, that's fine because that's your judgment. It's not our judgment, and it should not ever be in any book. But, well, we see this is everywhere in the New Age community. But it should not be that the writer is selling you their dogma. They should sell you high quality information that is as clean as possible, as factual as possible, hopefully entertaining, right? And you can add your own personality or spin and translate it as you like. So to get us started, people just think that you go in for a tarot reading. You can't blame the public. They've been lied to. They've been scammed. We have, at least here in America, all over the place. You know, $5 specials. I wonder if they're ever going to raise the rate. It's been like $5 forever, at least as long as I remember. And even so, and the idea is that you go in and you're like, who's got $5 or why not, or who doesn't have $5? Sorry, or this giant neon crystal ball, and you go in and for fun, or maybe you're having an issue. Next thing you know, you probably spent a lot more. And I'm not saying that it's all unethical. I'm saying that there's some shady characters out there, and this is what the public has been exposed to, and therefore this colors their belief system. So we want to get off on a good foot with our clients. And even before then, Mandy, for example, I'm going to call you in here.
Yes.
Perception, public perception. You are, whether you like it or not, or technically you're the psychic of Cambridge. So you have a a base of people that have seen your stall. You have a base of people who've seen you at the fairs, at Oxford, the university. Everybody, yes, she reads it. This is like for hundreds and hundreds of people there. So in other words, you're kind of a public figure. I mean, already, of course, with Mrs. Bubbles you are, but in this own sense, you are a public figure. And what I'm trying to get at when I say what can you do with the tarot is the first thing I want to do is disabuse our audience of just the crap that at least in America we get. There's a whole bunch of like, oh, it's just this or that, and it's always about spying on somebody or surrendering your future. What type of image are you trying to project? What message do you sell the public? Forget whether they give a reading or not. How do you present yourself? And aside from that, you've been doing this for a while, and you not just for a while, but you're like on a regular basis out there. You are out there in the streets, and again, universities, fairs, marketplaces. These are all different avenues, different venues, different areas of life. So you're really getting a full spectrum awareness of what it means.
Yeah.
What information, what advice can you give, as well as a mea culpa of what you're doing? Mea culpa. How do you present yourself, and why?
I think I am. Well, obviously, it's hard for me to. I mean, all I can do is sort of say what I think I'm giving off, if that makes any sense. You might be better to ask the people what they think of me, but I feel that I am a very professional person. I've always been a professional person in everything I've ever done. That's just my work ethic. And I am just the same when I'm doing the tarot in terms of I'm very transparent. I make it very clear what it is I'm offering and what I'm not offering. I don't make any sort of false promises. I think I make people feel confident and comfortable, and I do take the fear out of it for them. I know I do that, and I do that deliberately because I'm very open about what I'm asking on their behalf. That is absolutely kind of cleared with them before I kind of like put any cards down. So they, they're not going to, they might, I don't know what the answers are going to be, but they absolutely know what the questions are. So I won't ask a question that they're not comfortable with, if that makes any sense. It's their choice whether I ask that question or not. And I know when I get someone who seems a little bit nervous or apprehensive, but at the same time you can tell they want the reading, I will sort of explain to them roughly how I'm going to do it, so they know that they're in control of the questions I'm going to ask. And I kind of like think that helps. Does that answer?
That works for me. That works for me.
What you meant?
Well, also, you don't present yourself as someone who knows all and sees all. How do you? Somebody comes in and says, "I want a reading."
Yes.
What do you tell them that you can help them with? I mean, how?
Oh, well, I would say to them, what would you like the reading to be about? What's made you want to have a reading today? I will actually have an open conversation with them. And if they go into the kind of, I don't know, you tell me, if it goes down that road, I have a way of dealing with that. So I will actually tell them I'm not going to do a reading that I'm going to sort of be guessing what it's trying to say. So, I'm happy to do a reading to see which area of your life the universe suggests your reading should be about, and we can take it from there. But I said, if you've got a sort of certain thing on your mind, tell me, and we'll do the reading about that. 9 out of 10 times they do.
So it sounds to me like you're using the tarot as a metaphysical research tool to enhance information they possess by giving them extra data.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can put it into kind of groups of the way, what type of readings they tend to be. Some people want an understanding of perhaps an ongoing situation, or even a situation that's already happened in the past, and they just aren't clear about kind of what it was all about. So I can do a reading to kind of like give them some clarity, an overview of what's either gone on or what is going on in a given situation. sometimes people just have difficulty making a decision. So, they want to make a choice between two or three different options that they've got, and they're getting themselves really kind of confused about it all. And the tarot is great for that, to kind of like help clear their heads. Other times it's more to do with kind of they've kind of lost their way a bit, and they kind of like need to get on track. So, I can really sort of like help them with some advice on, getting on the right track, staying on the right track, and where that's all heading. So all of these things I would find out before I actually put any cards down. While I'm shuffling, I'm finding out what it is that this particular person needs to kind of walk away with, and I make sure that I choose the right spread to get that answer for them.
Let's talk about that real quick. We didn't cover that last time. Kind of breezed over that because it's not something we thought we were going to be releasing to the public originally. But so there's definitely three key points I want to bring up. And Sharon, I'd like to get your input on this. First off, when you are setting yourself for a tarot reading, we're talking about how the process actually works, where the information comes from. There are three things that I definitely want all of you to do. First off, know what you want to ask. Sharon, I'll give you a moment on that to really go on that, but I want to run through these real quick. So you know what you want to ask, and then you shuffle your question into the cards. Now, ideally, this is the whole point of training, or at least a lot of practice if you're not going to get trained. Lots and lots of practice. Your intuition, your spirit guides, your angels, God, you'll get that little voice in your head or that sensation says, this is when you stop shuffling. Now, you just don't go, okay, I was told to shuffle 3 times. No, just know. And again, this is why we have schools. So what's been working for the top psychics in the world for decades and whatnot. But it's up to you to take it or not. But don't believe your subconscious instincts to stop shuffling after 2 or 3 times or a dozen times. It doesn't work like that. You want to focus your question, shuffle it into the cards. And I'm telling you, I've been doing this for decades. Sometimes it seems like it's really short. Other times you could be going on for a couple of minutes. Don't be afraid to shuffle for a couple of minutes. If it's not working, don't force it, because you're just going to end up throwing out cards and they're not going to make any sense, and you can embarrass yourself. Now, after laying out the cards, your intuition tells you what the cards mean as it relates to the question. So, Sharon, if you don't mind, on those 3 points, can you go point by point on your opinion on this? And Mandy, if you want to jump in as well. You guys are out there doing it. You guys are out there not just interacting with students, not just being part of the study groups, and of course podcasts, but you guys are pros. So give us some of your hard-won street level instincts and hard-won wisdom. There you go.
Well, I know you said about the question first, but as far as shuffling, I'm gonna mix it up a little bit here. I start
Sure.
shuffling the minute I make a phone call or the minute I see someone, I'm shuffling. And I don't have a
Absolutely. What
question
was
yet.
not rule number 1, but what's the cardinal rule of ABS?
Always be shuffling.
Yeah.
And you do it. It works.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Me too. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So at this point, I don't have a question yet, but It's kind of like prep. It's like if you have to go out for a run, which I haven't had to do for years, but you want to stretch and limber up before you actually run, or you're just gonna feel like crap afterward.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Helps to
like
put on your
that.
shoes too, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Uh, Sorry to interrupt, but this may sound a bit mad, but if I'm ever talking to someone about the tarot, so they're not having a reading, I'm just talking about it, and I might be talking about shuffling, my hands are doing the shuffling action when I haven't even got any cards in them. I've done that loads of times.
That's great. That is true muscle memory. I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. It sounds a bit mad, but I know I do it. And I've done it for
Now let's explore that because there is an argument for insanity, but sorry, squishy chair. But if you think about this,
yeah.
you could. This is where I got to go get that damn psych degree. It, I'm thinking that if we got a skilled professional on there, we could ask them the hand gesture association. So it's feeding from the brain to the hands subconsciously, but does it not also feed back or feedback where the act of just going through the shuffling in a subconscious way? You're not, it's not like some weird new age, I am shuffling, therefore I am moving energy around. It's like the fact that it's happening so organically has to, okay, this non-psychologist speculation. So I'm opening up the floor for everybody, whoever hears this, to consider this and think about it and come up with their own information, or always consult a medical professional. Um, could it not be said that that in turn reinforces the opening of the intuitive centers?
Oh, yeah.
It's my rabbit. My rabbit has little bunny dreams, and his little mouth goes nom 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 nom. Cats do this, right? They're like So even though the dream is making your little feet or the little mouth go, I'm num 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 num, I'm having a banana, in the case of a bunny, not a cat. Um, would it not also be true, or at least highly plausible, that the action of their mouth or little paws or whatever strengthens the power of their thoughts? In this case, dreams, makes it more real. So it's like a feedback loop, is what I'm saying. So I think you get a little interesting feedback loop. And I would argue that means you're kind of doing it right.
I'd like to think so. I mean, but yeah, I mean, it's really is all part of my heart and soul and my system now doing this. It's
It
Yeah.
sounds daft. I mean, the point is you're really
yeah.
good at what you do, so why bother changing it?
Well, as I said, I don't even know if I could control myself doing it because I just, I'm talking about it and then I suddenly realize I'm doing the hand actions to go with it. so, so, you know, yeah, I'm doing it before I realize I'm doing it every single time.
All right, so moving on.
Mm.
Sure.
Oh, okay. So I'm shuffling the second I see or start speaking. As far as the question, when you say talk to your clients, I don't believe that you mean grill them and get every eek of information. I mean, that part of that's our job. Let them know what's going on. But if you've got someone that comes in not really knowing what their question or so many times knowing, hey, I want to know, am I going to get fired? It's like, okay, why do you feel like you're going to get fired? Is there something going on that find out if it's just anxiety or if there's a real situation going on. And a lot of times they don't want to know if they're going to get fired. They want to know why they're going to get fired, or what can I do to not get fired? What can I do to fix this? So, am I going to get fired? That's just a yes, no, straight up, doesn't really give them much information, but why am I going to be fired, or what can I do to not get fired? Eh, those are questions. Just being able to put the question into a better format so the customer or the client can get better information and actionable information so they can actually go out and do something and not just go out with this sense of doom or victory. Does that make sense?
Oh God.
Well, it does, and we teach it in the course. It's extensively. But I want to bring that up. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's spend a little time on this. And Mandy, I want your input, please. So let me state a few truisms. Um, I guess I'll just start with that. No one, and that means like zero. There's nothing less than zero. So, well, there's nobody. 0 point. What is it? 0.0. Nobody wants a yes or no answer. People, again, God bless the public. They just haven't been taught how to get a tarot reading, and it's not anybody's job, hey, here's how to get a tarot reading. If anything, maybe we make a little brochure. Hey, here's how to get a tarot reading. That'd just be interesting. Like guide them along and say, here's how to get the most out of it. But that's pretty much it. We don't want to try to tell them how to ask for their banana split or something. Well, no, you need to order it this way. But people will come in, and we're talking metaphysics. With words like psychic and crystal ball and tea leaves and astrology, and just these are not in the everyday lexicon of most people who go in and get a reading. So it's not their fault for saying, will I get fired, or is my boyfriend cheating on me, or whatever. What they're saying is they're giving us a summation of what their concern is, and what I like to teach over and over and over, so you'll hear this a lot if you get in the the community or the course, is like Sharon said, we're not grilling them. We're not grilling them for information. What we're doing is we're wrapping our mind around the question. They could walk in and say, here, there's a $5 bill or $500 bill, if you can get those anymore. Tell me, Don Carlos, what is happening here? Yes or no? We can pull a card. We can do a big giant spread. We can stand on our head. We can do it in a box with a fox wearing red socks. But if we're just giving them a yes or no, they're going to sit there and say they're going to be unsatisfied. They're going to sit there and say this is not what I asked for, even though they said yes or no. Also, if we want to really give an accurate answer, not just with precise details, but something that's going to work, we're not, just in case anybody's misunderstanding what Sharon says, and I want Sharon to be able to clarify in case I misstate what she's doing. But I believe that Sharon's saying, let's psychoanalyze them or have them work through their problems. And this is not the goal of us asking these questions. This is not, we're not psychologists, and those of us who are and also read cards, well, then we're doing that plus something else. What we're doing is we're digging into the scenario or the situation just enough to get our psychic claws in there and go, I understand why you are here. I understand what your concern is, and I'm going to take all of this new awareness, and that is going to shape the question I ask. The question I ask may not be the same question you ask. It's none of your damned business. You came to me for answers. I am going to inquire enough to go, okay, I've got something to work with. I'm going to form a question that will allow me to get the answers that I can translate into valuable information for you. I'm not just going to go, okay, you've asked a question. I'm going to say, okay, God, you've heard that question. Answer this. And then I'm going to answer as if I am the Almighty, or Almighties, if you prefer polytheism. Mandy, is this making sense?
Completely. Yeah.
How do you feel about this? And then I just want to touch back with Sharon to make sure I haven't like totally.
I just feel it's my responsibility to make sure I've absolutely properly understood why, what it is this person needs to know, and why they're having the reading, and what would be the kind of the most beneficial information I can get for them, so that they can kind of make their decision, however, as a result, maybe as a result of the tarot reading, but the tarot reading may be included with other factors in how they make their decision. But I just want to make sure that I'm doing the job properly, and I can't possibly do the job properly unless I have understood their question or their situation properly. That's why I'm asking the various questions that I ask, so I can make an informed decision.
You have a good number of repeat clients, plus you are now you're kind of evolving, so the market may or may not be a thing, but for at least for the longest time, and maybe in the future, people could go every Monday, and they find they know exactly where you're going to be. If they're unhappy, boy, you're going to get an earful of it. On the other hand, they know where you're going to be. They're going to come back. One thing that drives me nuts, because this is the whole dog and pony show that has taken over the actual divination, prognostication, counseling. We need to be good counselors. We happen to be using cards as an interpretive tool to allow the gateway that is our intuition, that God can talk to us, or the gods can talk to us. Without something like the tarot, it's just a lot harder. It takes a lot of training to be able to sit there and just go, okay, I'm channeling. Tarot cards make this really easy that anybody can do it. If you're just throwing on cards, you're just throwing on cards. But, not all that much. Good, decent practice, good education. Some good books out there. There's some great teachers out there, but that studied coupled with practice and study with like-minded friends and whatnot who are intelligently taught and also interested in doing good jobs for this. Now you've got a tool. I suppose anybody could chop down a tree with their hand, or maybe a hand axe. I'm not into chopping down trees, but I'm not. It's got to happen sooner or later. Damn trees, they're pests. But if you had a chainsaw, it's like, zoom, it's a lot easier. You chop the tree into little sawdust particles. The tarot is literally a chainsaw. It is an incredibly powerful tool that makes our job of asking the divine for information and getting answers that are applicable to our client makes it so much easier. Sharon, I want to make sure, because I'm just going out. I didn't know, or I shouldn't lead the witness. Did I? Did I misphrase you, misparaphrase? Misparaphrase.
No, you did not. I do have an actual really good example from recently that shows how drastically the question asked is not the question to answer. We had a group recently where, they're advanced enough to start asking each other questions. And one of the young ladies asked a question and it sounded totally legal, like, how is this lawsuit going to go? And I pointed out that it was a legal question. And the girl reading for her was like, yeah, I'm not comfortable with that. That's been drilled into my head. Don't do legal questions. And the girl who'd asked the question was like, well, I don't really want to know the legal outcome of it. I just really want to know how I can deal with the process. Turned into a completely different question just with one comment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's essential we understand what do people want to know. It's kind of like dating. Are people, if we're going out with someone over a length of time, or maybe a couple of times, or once, why are they here? That's why we have conversation, right? I guess it's a matter of make your client, and I just use the word client, make the person that you're reading for as relaxed as possible. When people are relaxed, the truth comes out. Freedom alcohol.
Oh, definitely. I, I,
And yeah,
sorry, Karen, yeah. I
no,
was
go
going to say,
ahead. Go ahead.
I had a reading once, and the girl, it started off, she was saying, "Oh, I've met this bloke, and is it going to work out with him?" And that appeared to be what she wanted the reading to be about when she started talking. But as she was sort of giving me a bit more information, it turned out that she'd had a very long term relationship before with someone who had died several years ago, but she was still deeply attached to him. Like that the only reason that relationship had gone wrong was because he'd died. And clearly she'd never ever kind of like she got over it or come to terms with it. And it became really apparent that the reading would be more beneficial to her to kind of find some sort of comfort for her on how she could get a perspective on that so that she could move on to meet other people without feeling guilty about it or all that sort of thing. So the whole thing took a real twist before any cards actually went down. And my assumption that this was just, oh, I've met some bloke and is it going to work out in the first instance was would have just been a complete waste of the reading.
Hmm.
It turned out to be an incredible reading. But it was
And
having
this is
that
good.
consultation with her in the first place that led to what the reading really should be about.
I hope you guys are all listening to this because this is literally how it happens. And if you're listening to this, give give 1,000 readings, give 10,000 readings. You're going to see that what we're talking about is this is what you're going to face. So hopefully you'll learn from us and you'll go, okay, develop a happy, positive mindset that works for you. And when these issues come up, you'll just take them in stride. Real quick, because we're going long. Sharon, the other two questions. You want to, I mean, the other two key points. Did you want to touch on them? Share your thoughts.
As far as shuffling, seriously, don't just stop. Don't ever let yourself be pressed for time to stop shuffling. Happens a lot in groups because with groups there's six other people, five, six other people, and you're sitting there
Yeah.
shuffling thinking, well, God, they don't want to be waiting on me all night. It doesn't matter. You shuffle until you're done shuffling, until you get that ding that Dusty
Ding.
talks
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's an actual ding for some people. Sometimes it's a physical feeling of goosebumps going down. With me, it's just my cards just stop shuffling. I can't force them together anymore. I'm done. Um, it, do not ever let anybody rush you to get your ding. It'll make for a horrible reading, and like Dusty said, you'll be terribly embarrassed. So when you just get that feeling, and this takes practice, it's like just keep doing it. You'll know. You'll know. Just trust yourself, trust the universe. I know that sounds kind of frou-frou, but that's what it is. Shuffle until you're ready to read. And then when you start actually laying out the cards and reading, don't look for your book. Don't try to remember
Oh
traditional
God, yeah.
keywords. Look at the cards. Think about the question that you've asked. Keep it to the question. If somebody's asking me about a relationship, they don't they don't want to hear about Aunt Petunia's green knickers. I, I'm
Yeah.
serious. I've seen this happen where people just go off on a tangent for something that does not have any value to the client. Just trying to show off. Look what I know. Don't try to show off. don't try to show off. Just say what you see, and treat your client like they're actually part of the process. Does that
I
make
think
Oh,
that's some of the
okay.
best advice that you can get for free anywhere. We see so much crap with the so-called professionals. Not so much anymore. And I think that's rather interesting that with the rise of the internet and social media, um, the ability to report on people's findings immediately, a lot of these big name TV psychics, not going to mention any Kenny's names or anything like that, but I mean, no kings or anything, no towns, no kings towns, um, but a lot of these, it's like the circuit has fallen apart. You know, back in the day when it was all just live, and then maybe they put it on TV because they wanted to juice it for a little bit more money. You get a lot of and you might see the Shuck and Jive show. Stop it, cat. Locally, you know, I'm getting an R. Is there anybody in the audience with an R? Oh God, no! Just run. Demand your money back.
Yeah.
Um, Somebody's dead grandmother is reaching out. It's like, no, no, no. People come in, uh,
Mm.
whether they come in, the point is that however you're reading for them, a lot of times they won't know what they want. We have techniques and methods for that we've talked about. We'll talk about again. It's in the course. We will teach you left, right, and center, front, backwards, all of the things. But they don't know what they want, and so we help them through that. Or they do know what they want, or they know when they try to play stump the psychic, or they know when they don't know how to express it. I mean, we have to deal with the hand that we're dealt. We have to deal with the people that come in, and we have to be more professional. The beautiful thing is by doing all of these things we've talked about, I guess we're just going to have taxes on the end. We can do dowsing with our cards.
Mm-hmm.
We go into that huge way in the course, and possibly on some podcasts there. Dig around, we'll probably have either some in the can, or we'll make some. Help me out here. So we got dowsing, past, distant future, or distant location, like a remote viewing kind of thing.
Remote viewing's my favorite.
Hmm. We can uncover missing bits of information. This is what these are the readings I love the most. Is I'll have corporate clients or personal clients come in and they'll say, I know this and this and this. This is fact, this is speculation. Here's where I think I'm going to go. And they don't necessarily use this phraseology. I'm just making it easier to process. But it becomes obvious that there's holes or gaps in their knowledge. Now they want to move from here to there. I think we all do. We want to go from here to there as successfully and smoothly as possible. So by anchoring down what we're focusing on, we can fill in a lot of the gaps. So they have absolute knowledge or speculation or bias or opinion or hopes and dreams. And then on top of that, we can layer as cleanly as possible all of this information from the tarot. And I tell them all in no uncertain terms, take all of this as a grain of salt. Take all of this as ancillary extra information. Allow it to prove itself. When it proves itself as you're going along, great, then you can rely on it. And you know what to expect because you've got information of what's coming down the road. But don't take it as gospel and don't let it change you. Just use this in an anticipatory kind of way. So you go into any situation knowing what's most likely going to happen. You see it happening. It's played out. It was just like the old gypsy women said. Well, in my case, yeah, absolutely.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I do agree with you. However, I have
Please.
used the tarot myself, and I've had readings done by others of your students that I know and love and trust, to make a decision, between one thing or another, if you like, or like, should I do something or should I not do it? That kind of thing. So therefore, based on the decision I made, I never was able to verify if the other one would have worked out. Do you see what I'm saying? Because I chose not to do that thing because the cards were sort of saying this is a bad idea. I didn't go down that road, so I would never really know if they were right or wrong because I took the advice and didn't do it. Do you see what?
Well,
Do you see
but look at it
yeah.
this way. Look at it
Yeah.
this way. Life is about making choices.
Yeah.
Um, who we marry, what job we end up taking. If we end up taking a job and it works out well for us, we can stop maybe a year, 2, 10 years down the road and go, I don't know if I'd taken the other job, what would have happened.
Yeah.
And this is a huge thing in life. People second guess themselves all the time, and the question of like, well, how would it have gone? I don't know, and so ultimately, if it works out well, I would like to think that we made the right choices.
Yeah. And
It
I love the fact that it helps me to kind of let something go. I feel it served a purpose just because I made a decision and I take the attitude, well, I'll never know how that other one would have worked out, but I don't care. I'm letting it go now. I'm just getting on with my life, you know?
right, as long as we don't get
Yeah.
too wrapped up in trying to figure out, what could have been. That is such a trap that
Yes.
Mm.
Yes, that is so true. Yeah.
anyway, Sharon, thoughts? No, it's good. We don't have to have thoughts. Um,
I mean,
so
yeah, because obviously we've got verification things built into readings, haven't we? Things that have
That,
yes,
already happened.
that
So, yes, sorry, carry on.
that's so important there, right there. It's like the first few cards are all verification cards, like the client, yes or no, or wow, that just happened, or no, that doesn't mean anything to me. If you're doing a reading and you've got all the verification, like we know this happened, it's past, we know this happened, it's what's in your head, and we
it's
get to the
currently, yeah,
cards that say what's going to happen. We've got proof right there. And I've actually will, like I did a reading last week and she said, "Oh, it would be so nice if that really happens." And I'm like, "Well, everything we've talked about has been true. It's resonated. You've been, participating in the reading and giving me examples of what I've just told you. So if we can trust all of this, why, of course we can trust the rest of it."
Yeah,
yes. Now, for anybody who look, if you haven't been in the course, you have no idea what we're talking about. It's in the Black Book, Advanced Tarot Secrets, and this is actually in the chapter called Advanced Tarot Secrets, where we show you how to never sit down for this. We show you how to never be wrong ever. Now, it's not a guarantee. We actually have to, do the work. But certain spreads, not hiding it, it's right there in front of you in black and white. And we go over this in depth in the course because it's why we have a course, so we actually go in depth in it. But we show you how to verify the accuracy and precision and depth of your reading before you start blathering on and telling people what's going to happen down the road. And there's no shenanigans. It's right there. We have card positions that verify what has happened, what is going on, what's going on in people's heads. And as we go through these, we realize that at the risk of somebody going, "Oh, tell me something I don't already know," which I used to hate, now I'm like, "Well, great. Somebody says, tell me something I don't already know." I get a big old grin on my face because I'm like, I didn't know any of this. There's no way I could have known any of this. This is right here. Here, shuffle the deck, throw down some cards. Let's see if we can make that happen again. No, random cards are random cards. These cards came out and said, "Bippity boppity boo. This is what you've been. This is what you're doing." what's going on. And therefore, you can most likely trust me when I say this is coming down the road. And a lot of times they'll go, wow, that sounds exactly what's supposed to happen. Well, I hope so, because that's what's going to happen. Sometimes they're like, oh no, and oh no, meaning they're surprised. Like, that's not supposed to happen. It's like, well, report back. And then we hear back, oh my God, just like you said. And it's not like, oh my God, we're great. Everybody can be great. You got to do this though. We got a book. The easiest way to learn the tarot ever. It's a white book. It's like $20 on Amazon. Advanced Tarot Secrets. That should be $500 a copy because it is just liquid gold. That didn't even make sense. It's a killer book. It's also like $20. If you pour through these books, if you dedicate serious time and attention to studying these and trying these things out, you will be stunned at how good you are.
You
And
have
if you
a
want to do it the easy way, join the course. Yeah.
you have a student named Cassidy, and I do think it's harder for us old dogs that have been doing tarot
Mhm.
for a while. But you have a student named Cassidy who picked up her first tarot deck in August of last year and had the good fortune to find your course in September. So she just started reading in September of last year. She did a reading for us Monday that blew our socks off.
Oh, did she?
Did she
Oh,
ever?
she's amazing. I didn't know about the reading, but she's brilliant.
She is amazing. And she said she'd never even looked at the tarot cards before. She's raving about this course. And
Yeah.
that reading, holy mother of cows. I've got it on recording, Dusty. But
Nice.
here's
Oh,
this.
that's another thing, everybody. Record your readings for your clients. Don't be afraid.
So
Please go ahead. I just wanted to
my
that
point
point.
with that is just reading over or learning just over a year and what this girl could do.
Yeah, yeah.
The confidence, the skill, the technique that this course gave to her, she should be
I would
walking on
totally
air.
trust. I would totally trust any reading she gave me. I
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Well, that's a good place to end it. So, what can you do with the tarot? I guess the answer is really unending.
Yeah.
Um, we talk about things like dowsing. We haven't even gone into manifestation.
Story
Um,
building
Story building.
and
Pick up the black book. It's all in there. There's a whole bunch of different things. Yes,
intuition building.
Yeah.
yes. Ultimately, the point of the tarot cards. I found this out over years and years of working, not just with the cards, but years of working with the top psychics in the world, and not all of them, just about 100, 200 of them. Close quarters. Hi Sam. Hi Ralph. Time to punch in. Okay. 8 hours a day. Click, click, click. Um, that'll never happen again, man. Those were golden times. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we get a whole bunch of students all see about putting together an agency. We can all house them together. That would be pretty awesome to have
Yeah, it
a
would.
big our psychic house in the middle of our street or something like that. I don't know. Oh boy, the 80s say hello. 20th century says hello. Grandpa's back to his pop music again. I don't know why that's, psychic house. It just popped in my head and some stupid song with the word house in it. The point is that just do this. All right. Nike says just do it. I say just do it. Get out there. We'll be back again next week. I know we ran long here, but you're getting it straight from the experts. The only thing we want you to do is be really good. If you want to throw us a couple of dollars, take the course. Great. We don't have a Patreon. You don't have to sign up and give us money every month. Like, oh, hey, here's the podcast. Um, no, the only thing is if you want a real education, yeah, so go to Easy Tarot Lessons. Go to school. Or for your darn fool kids. Other than that, just keep showing up for the podcast and the occasional videos when we actually get around to that. But you're getting it from the people who actually do it. Okay, any last minute tidbits of advice?
I'll just
No,
keep
I
No.
like
practicing.
that.
No.
Thanks everybody for being here.
Always be shuffling.
Always be shuffling.
Even when
Know
you
what
don't
you're
have
asking
your
about.
cards.
We need a t-shirt. Always be shuffling.
See, I'm just right. Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.